Welcome, and thank you for joining us for another interview with an owner who is willing to share their experiences with all of you. And today we welcome Gosha Baran with Helping Hands. Before we bring Gosha on, I would like to thank Gosha and all of the owners that I've interviewed in over the past 7 years for their willingness to be so open and bare their souls of some of their weaknesses to bring to you what they did and how they overcame it, in order so that you wouldn't have to waste your time and your money making the same mistakes. They're costly and time-consuming, and it's really nice of these people to be willing to share so openly where their weaknesses are. So I thank you, Gosha, so much for doing this, for spending the time to set it up, and we're going to welcome Gosha Baran with Helping Hands and ask her to tell us a little bit about her company. Welcome, Gosha.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gosha Baran. I am with Helping Hands Cleaning Services. I started Helping Hands in 2001, started myself cleaning. The business took off. Despite the economy crashing, the business took off. And right now, at this day, we are at 290 repeat clients. We have 20 full-time cleaning people on staff. We have 4 teams of 2, 12 solos. We pay by the hour. We have company vehicles, 4 company vehicles, which really helps recruit people. I just started doing company vehicles last year, and it was a very best decision I made. As far as the office to help me run the business, I have 3 people, 3.5. I have one full-time customer service salesperson. She answers the phone. 1 full-time administrative customer service. She does all the behind the scenes, not customer-related items. And 1 full-time field manager, and she handles and she manages all the employees. Then I have a bookkeeper who comes twice a week just to run the books, make sure everything is correct. And then it's me. So I work about 40 to 50 hours a week. It depends on the week. It depends on the month. There are times I work a little less, and there are times I work even more. So that's about the history of my company.
Thank you, Gosha. And some days you love it and some days you don't.
Always. That's it.
So, Gosha had some challenges when she first decided to, actually I called Gosha to do a webinar or an interview on her tracking system for her cars and things like that, because Gosha has a lot of technical things she has added to her office that are phenomenal to me. Maybe because I'm so old, or maybe because a lot of you haven't heard of them either. So we were going to do an interview on that, and before we even got that far, we started talking about the challenges she was facing in her office that day. Gosha, share those challenges with your audience.
First of all, we had a very slow growth last year. I was just frustrated. I cannot bring my revenue to my goal, and I just couldn't figure out what is wrong, what is the problem, where am I stuck. So in order, I'm adding things, I'm adding technology, but I just couldn't move on with the numbers. So that's why I called, when Sharon called me, I started venting, and I'm like, what is wrong? So we started digging, and she pinpoints exactly my problems, and she's like, you know what, before we go any further, let's do something else. And I have this new program that I'm working, and I went all about it and all one for it. So I will have you, take that part, Sharon.
Well, actually, let's talk about your second challenge. One of your challenges was the 4% growth revenue in 2014 and only adding 14 repeat clients, which, made you go ballistic when you finally figured that out. And in all honesty, Gosha hadn't figured that out. So it was, as long as you're increasing, you're thinking you're fine. But then you also had this employee that was ready to walk out the door, a key player.
Right.
Talk to us a little bit about Joanna.
Right. What happened is my office manager, she's been with me for over 5 years. She started complaining. She cannot sleep. She's tired. She's burned out. She was cleaning houses. Because when she started, that's what she started. She started with, I hired her to be my second person in the office and also a filler whenever we need her to clean. So 5 years later, she's still cleaning homes. She's still doing in-home estimates. She is going to the office at 6 a.m. to start on her office duties so she can go at 8 and clean. Bottom line, she was just very tired, overwhelmed. She got engaged a few months ago. She was complaining she doesn't even have energy to go out with her fiancé on Friday. By Friday, she's done. And that has been going on for several months. When I offered her more money, she was like, you know, I don't care about more money. I don't want more money. I want more time. I want free time. That's what she said. And when she said that, I was like, oh my gosh, I really have to do something about this. I don't want us to lose her because I feel like once she gets married, she's gone. Her husband will say, you know, you don't want to work for this company. So that's what really made me think hard of what do I need to do to make a change. I have to make a change in my office.
Very good, very good. And a very common story, Gosha. I mean, we hear this, we read it on LinkedIn, we read it on Facebook. People are constantly losing or about to lose their managers. Lots of things go underlying the manager, then you fix the manager, but if you don't fix the problems that created all the stress for the manager, you'll go through another manager. So it's a little bit deeper than just fixing the mellowness of the manager. You've got to fix all the problems. And we're going to talk about the areas that Gosha went in to fix. So interesting. The first night we spent about 4 hours together getting ourselves in alignment, and we're going to talk about this a little later, but I will tell you, they were things like, do you use feather dusters or Swifters? Do you use long dusters? Do you work solos or teams? Do you do 2 or 3 people? Not changing clean positions when they're cleaning. These were things that Gosha and I talked through and worked through that she'd really not given a lot of thought to before. She did say when we went to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning after a cup of Cosmos that we might be fisticuffing these things up. Gosha, do you want to throw anything into that before we tell them at the end what you decided?
So there were a couple of things that I was struggling. We were not using the right tools. We were not having the procedures in place. We were pretty much all over as far as the team. As far as the employees go. People were not organized. We were constantly changing positions in our teams, meaning, they go into a home, one person cleans a bathroom this time, the next house, the other person cleans kitchen. They were switching positions. So after Sharon really listened to how we are running, she presented her structure, her procedures, and it all made sense. As far as the feather dusters versus the Swiffers, I was spending $300 every 2 weeks on Swiffers. She showed me how to properly use feather dusters because before I was like, okay, the feather duster creates more dust. How can you clean with the feather duster? And she's like, no, there is a right way to use it. So we got that, and it's all working great. It really makes sense. Everything she said, it all made sense. So that's where we were the first night, right?
Perfect. And I didn't mean to say it all made sense because I was going to let everybody know on the end that it made sense, but that's good, Gosha. Okay. So we spent a half a day going over customer service sales things with Joanna, and actually that was like the second or third day because the poor girl was out cleaning houses while I was training Gosha's field manager. But we're going to go through how each one of these things turned out. But to let you know what we did as an audience that half day was we transitioned from in-home sales to phone sales. And we tried to do this with Joanna 3 years ago. We were just discussing that. So it took some moxie to do this, but she was pretty well ready. We followed up on, taught them how to follow up on quality on the phone calls so that they stay in place. We talked about email marketing and following up on the phone on email marketing, outbound sales, and then we talked about a wall chart. And we'll go on to talk about each one of these in depth. Then we had a cleaning process day with her field manager where I actually went out and watched a team because I wanted to make sure before I changed her that she wasn't perfect already because I had to see what was happening in that home. So I popped over to a home and watched them, and I realized actually it was good for my ego because it was like, I can help Gosha. So we made some of those transitions and went over what I saw. And then I worked with the field manager on the three major areas that half day. I taught her how to clean a kitchen, how to dust, and how to do a bathroom the core actual way. She was astounded. She thought she was using it, but indeed she wasn't. And she was such a receptive person that she tied right into it immediately. So, Gosha, do you want to go over each one of these things that this is what I went over with her that day and a half. Do you want to say, has anything happened in each one of these areas? How is she reacting to each one of these things?
So we worked with the field manager. Sharon worked with the field manager. She taught her exactly each specific area of how to do it correctly. What are the right questions to ask? What are, how to track things, and how to recruit. We gave her the proper, Sharon gave her the proper paperwork of when she actually helped me write an ad for Craigslist. We placed the ad that day. We got tremendous amount of phone calls, which we were shocked how many calls we actually received from that. The response was phenomenal. I think we got within 2 hours, we got 12 phone calls. And Carmina was answering, my field manager was answering the calls, was recording them. Then she would schedule an interview. And then Sharon taught the field manager how to hire those people. What are the questions? What are the proper hiring questions, interview questions? Then we went how to properly orientate the new person, how to train with the core system. We showed her, explained step by step. Then we had how to lead and motivate and retain the cleaners. It's so crucial because the cleaners is the core of our business. They need to be properly trained, and after the training, they need to be properly motivated so they stay with us. We don't want to have the turnover. In order to keep them, it's all about make them happy and keep them. And of course, the one-on-ones, which is our struggle. We are still trying to perfect that. We have not gotten into the one-on-ones yet, but Sharon gave the field manager the questions of what to ask. The reason we are not doing one-on-ones yet because we have to train every single person in our team, in our company, on how to properly clean with the core system, with the feather dusters, and unfortunately it's taking a little time. And in between, we're also training new people that we need to bring to our team. So it's a time-consuming process, but I feel like we are getting there. We are really getting there.
I think you are too. And it is a time-consuming process. You've got to set the time aside to do it and be open to it. I mean, you are a very receptive person. So we actually then, after we spent the day teaching all of this to her field manager, Carmina, then we actually brought in a brand new employee. And Gosha had it all set up so this person would walk in the door and we would start training her, and it was truly a fabulous day. I mean, I think it turned out well. But I'm going to let you, we started at 8:30. We were done at 4. Carmina did it all. I just watched Carmina, and then when we had a break, I would give her any feedback I had. But do you want to walk through what happened with the new employee that day? And Carmina did all of this after a day.
Right. So the new employee arrived, was scheduled for 8. She arrived at 8:15. It was a little late the first day. she's young, so we are hoping to really shape her properly. We started implementation and everything at 8:30. We went over the welcome home cleaning paperwork, everything. She signed all the documents, all the necessary documents. Then we went about the company history. We went through the handbook. We read the handbook, which is 27 pages. We want to make sure that when the new person starts, they clearly understand our rules. And then after that, she signed that she read the handbook, so she knows, okay, this is a serious company. Then we read the job description to her. We went through that. She was it was very clear to her what are her duties. When we went into our back room, we introduced her to all of our supplies, supply by supply, what it is in her field, because we were training her on bathrooms and floors. So we taught her exactly what supplies go for what. And then she had the one-on-one training at the location, the job. So after lunch, we had the lunch, and then we were watching the module, the 3 modules of the core training, and then we went into cleaning. So she cleaned 2 bathrooms with the hands-on from Carmina training based on the core, and she was ready to go for the next day. At 4 o'clock we were done, and she already perfected the 2 bathrooms. And then after the 2 bathrooms, all she needs to work on now is speed.
Very good, very good. Now, I do want to make it clear to people that when she watched these 3 videos, she watched the first one, which was before you pick up a rag, which has nothing to do with cleaning. It's like, don't shut the alarm off, don't do something stupid in the home. If you break something, make sure you tell somebody. And she watched 5, which was beds, floors, and wrap-up. Then she watched the bathroom. She did not watch the kitchen or the dusting, and probably still hasn't. Is that correct, Gosha?
Correct. She has not yet.
Do you feel it's easier to train a person and get them up to speed faster? Because normally when you get somebody, you need help like yesterday. Do you think that it's easier, and I'm probably feeding you this question, but is it easier, obviously, if you're only doing 1 bathroom? How do you feel like this? Instead of going out and training a lot of people. Training 1 person in a lot of areas.
Right. It's not only easier, but it saves me so much money. Before, I would send a cleaner, the new trainee with the trainer for 2 weeks, and then we would train. The person would be watching for a couple of days. Then she would clean. Then she would clean slowly. Then the trainer would be correcting her. Afterwards, we would bring her in and we would talk, and then maybe she would quit already. So we would waste 2 weeks of money, time. Right now it takes us a day, and then we send her a day and a half, because the next day she does floor. So it's so much quicker, saves us money, and she's ready to go. So once we get the person in the door, the next day she can go and clean already.
That does help. That definitely does help. Because I get the time situation. You don't want to be out hiring before you really need somebody, or they don't get enough hours. But when you need somebody, you need them. So you got to get them up and running really fast.
Yeah.
So let's talk about now the outcome of these days. Okay, so your field manager, Carmina, she did the management thing and the leadership thing. How did she feel about it? How did she feel about this experience? We probably should have her here, but how did she feel about it?
Right, I wish we had her here so she could really do the true testimonial, but she's training somebody new today again. She loved it. She felt empowered. She felt like she owns it. She knew exactly step by step what to do. She has the right paperwork. She got so organized. She got a folder. She got every employee a tag, in a binder. Every employee has its own spot, and she's taking notes. She's very organized. She feels like, oh my gosh, this whole experience helps me to be organized at home and at work. So she is, every day she writes herself notes of what she needs to do for tomorrow. So she's extremely organized, and she loves it because she is empowered to do this.
I have to say she is an amazing student. I mean, she just took this like a duck to water, and she's like a little soldier, just going in there doing everything she's supposed to do. So you're very lucky to have chosen the right person, and I think before you make that investment, you need to make sure that you do have the right person. Then, of course, you need to make sure they know what they need to do. And we'll talk about that in a little while. So let's talk about Jeanette, our new cleaner that Carmina did the first day and orientated and trained, and she was done in a day. Interesting person, rather large, not sure I would have hired her. Didn't seem like, I mean, she was late the first day, but tell us, what's happened here? How did she feel about her experience? Tell us what happened with her in the last 2.5, 3 weeks.
So this new girl we hired, she was a referral from someone who works for me, and they really wanted her to work for our company. She was working in a bar. She didn't have a good experience, so she really was waiting for this position. So she got it. She's only 18. She just finished high school. She was late first day. Right away we had to make sure, listen, this is your job. You cannot be late for your job. So right away we are training her already how to, we are setting her up for life, pretty much. Life is not easy. And then when we were training her, she, with all the proper paperwork and procedures, she felt like she was really working for a real company. She got a full training. She worked for 2 weeks, and unfortunately she slipped a little bit. She was not very detail-oriented, despite we went through all the procedures and how to work, left to right, top to bottom, and so far she slipped. I brought her into the office, and, I said, okay, this is not going to work, and I'm afraid this may not be the right fit. This job may not be the right fit for you. Pretty much she begged me for a second chance. I said, I will give you a second chance. Here's a warning letter. And she said she loved working for our company. She feels like this is the right fit for her. She doesn't know what happened, and she will really work hard. And literally from that moment, it's like we had a new employee. So my point here is, don't be afraid to write up people, because I was hesitant. I was afraid that she's going to quit, but she was doing poorly. So I said, we cannot afford for her to do a poor job. So I decided to write her up, and sure enough, she's doing great now. You just have to stay on top of the employees.
I think what's interesting as I listen to you talk about this is probably this is the point at which an owner, after 2 weeks, and they've probably now invested 2 weeks of training time, this person hasn't actually been generating revenue like Jeanette was for you for 2 weeks, they go in there and retrain. Instead, you must have felt she was totally trained. She didn't need to be retrained. She needed to do what she was taught, and you went right to a written warning, and it turned it around.
Right. That's right. That's correct. I think she just needed a little wake-up call and to understand that this is a company. There is no room to play around. So
good. Well, she's still there, and You all now, you had an excellent employee you wanted to hire, and you gave her the warning letter, and that poor person couldn't start the next day. What a wonderful situation to be in, Gosha. Okay, so, but you still have a bit to do, I understand. You haven't started the one-on-one. You need to retrain all of your people. You haven't done the performance appraisal thing, which we were talking about, and to actually start doing them in depth, and teaching Carmina how to do them, teaching the supervisors how to do the partner reviews, and lots of things. How do you feel about this, Gosha? You have a lot on your plate.
As we talked just before our webinar today, it is overwhelming. It is still overwhelming process because I feel like I want to implement everything today to bring this company to the level it should be, or I envision to be, but it is unfortunately a very long process and time-consuming. So you, of course, had a lot of insights and feedback from me. Okay, this is how you need to do. So in order to reach to the top level, to have a top performing company, I have to implement one by one, step by step, like baby steps, because we are at a decent size. We are not a huge company, but, you know, to have 20 employees and to change things, people don't like changes, so we have to be very careful how we make the changes so they don't quit, and they feel appreciated, and they get motivation, and they see the reason. The most important thing is when we implement changes, they see the reason why, because otherwise people are very reluctant. They don't want to change. They say, you know, oh, it works. I had with the new people that with the old people that we have to retrain them, they say, oh, why do I have to do this? It works the way it works. It was fine. It was very difficult to get rid of the flippers and bring the feather dusters to people. They were like, what do you mean we are not going to have feather dusters anymore? So it is a very time-consuming process, and we have to be very gentle, and we are walking in a fine line. But I know with Sharon's help, I can do this.
Well, you've accomplished a lot already. I will say that. But the changes seemed devastating at first, but when you added Jeanette, you actually added her to a solo. And when you did such a fabulous job of handling that, but when you brought the solo in, she was thrilled to have a partner. Right? Do I remember that correct?
Right. I had one girl that was working solo, and when I told her I am bringing you a partner, she had the biggest smile on her face. She says, oh, really? Thank you so much. I really wanted to work with a partner. So changing from solos, you know, to teams, I thought it will be more difficult, but of course we have some people that we have to keep them solos because they are scheduled and then they clean elderly people. We cannot throw 2 people or 3 people into old people's homes because they like the one-on-one attention. So, you know, everything has to be adjusted and put to it, you know, how it has to be. But
and yes. You don't have to do it all at once. I mean, you can only do teams, 1 team at a time anyway. And
right.
What makes sense is to start with your 4 company cars so you get more revenue out of a car than 2 people. So get those to 3. And so you can do so much growth, as I was saying to Gosha today. I don't want her spending any more money. I want the growth now to go right to her bottom line. So put more people in your cars, don't buy more cars. And that's instead of supersizing, maximizing. So it's just taking the most of what you've got. Okay, so Joanna was the half day that we worked on. As I said, we tried to switch your office into inbound sales before, but this time we decided to try it again. Let me ask, how did Joanna react to all this? I mean, we're teaching her inbound sales. We're teaching her don't talk to the employees anymore when she used to manage them all. How is she feeling about this?
She was thrilled that she doesn't have to talk to the employees anymore. don't take me wrong, she still talks to them, obviously. But she doesn't have to manage them. She was thrilled she doesn't have to manage the itty-bitty things with the employees. She doesn't have to reprimand them. When there is a complaint, the complaint goes to Carmina, and Carmina deals with them. Joanna strictly deals with customers, and she is so good with the customers. She's doing what she loves doing, and what she's good at, and that really saved her life and brought more peace. And of course, a lot of changes that we also brought into her position made her life so much easier, so much easier.
So let me ask you a couple of questions. And this has been 4 weeks, does Joanna have to clean a home?
No, she did not have to clean a home.
What about in-home? Has she gone to a home to bid a home?
She just had to go to 2 customers. They were absolutely stubborn, and they were, of course, weekly clients, so we didn't want to lose that weekly client. The reason she had to go to those because the client said she had some other in-home estimates, so she would like to meet with her personally. And it was local, so we were like, okay, fine, she will go to that. But she's no longer doing in-home estimates. She's doing all over the phone, everything over the phone. She's no longer cleaning. She's at the office. And she's going home earlier.
So how does she
feel?
Yes. Is she smiling more? Is she more content, more at peace?
She's thrilled. She is absolutely thrilled.
Yay, yay. And you even fixed the Friday night problem, right? Because as of this week, you're going to start paying on Thursday nights?
That's right. We are changing into Thursday pay, so we can get out on Friday early. So she doesn't have to wait for the last team to come in at 5:30 on Friday to pick up their check. So we will be doing, we are just changing everything. It's just so wonderful. I can't tell you.
That is such an easy thing to do and put such a smile on everybody's face, because we used to pay on Fridays too in the beginning until I was saying to Gosha, I wanted to be at happy hour at 4 o'clock with all my girlfriends, not at that office waiting on the slowest team I have. So you don't like them already, and then you got to sit there and wait on them. So, no, we started paying on Thursdays, and everybody loved it because, you know what, the cleaners want to go home too. They don't want to see you either. So if you have something really important to discuss with them, they're like wanting out that door. They're not hearing a word you're saying. So let's talk a bit about the wall chart. I thought this was so amazing because Gosha and I worked together 4 years ago, and I thought she got this wall chart thing, but obviously didn't. So tell us why you get it now, and tell us how you're using it and what's going on.
So the wall chart, that was always a challenge. I don't know why it was such a challenge for me to implement. It is so easy now. I see it's so easy, but it was always I just didn't understand how you record all of this. I'm just not a number person. I just hate numbers. And the reason we really implemented the wall chart is because of our slow growth. What happened, we didn't see the growth. We didn't see the incoming clients. We didn't see the lost clients. We do have a software, so everything is in the software, but of course, you don't have time to pull up the reports on a daily basis. Or you just forget to pull up the report to see whether you are growing, whether you are losing clients. On the wallboard, we have this right in front of their face, and we see that they are adding clients, and if there is a loss, then we put it in red. It's clearly marked, and actually their girls are so excited. When they get a client, they jump right from the desk and they run, put it up on the board. They're so excited. With the board also, it's easier to do the follow-up phone call because it's right in front of them and they have to know who they need to follow up with. Because before, we were not doing very many follow-up phone calls. So that's why we were not growing. The customers kind of were lost in transition, you know, from the deep cleaning to the repeat client. So, of course, if they didn't get a follow-up phone call, they went somewhere else because they forgot. You know, it's just now we actually we started when Sharon came to my office. We had 278 clients. Now we actually have 290 clients. In 3 weeks, we were able to put 12 new repeat clients on our wall chart. Absolutely amazing. I just cannot get over.
Well, and tell us how you incented. I mean, yes, the girls were excited and da-la-la, but what did you give them to hit the number? I mean, they're in this game with you, correct?
Right. So first of all, before they were paid commission on every client they brought in. So whether it was a one-time client or repeat client, they were paid commission. So it didn't matter to them to turn that one-time job into a repeat job because they got paid no matter what. So what I changed is I said, you know, no more, you will not get paid for one-time jobs. Those one-time jobs they will come and go. You will get paid a bonus on the number you hit. So we started with 2 new clients a week, and in 4 weeks they get a bonus. But right now, actually, because we are getting so many new repeat clients, we will raise the bar to 3 new repeat clients a week to give them the bonus. And they are so excited to get that bonus.
And they get enough money, you said, to make a car payment, and then because they wanted to stop when you hit your numbers in advance of time, like, well, can we go home now? We're done with the month. So you added to that 2 hours of paid vacation for every sale over the bonus plan because Joanna is more valued in time off than she is paid.
That's right. So one day they made a comment. It was literally in 2 weeks or about 16 days. Within 16 days after they reached that goal of 288 clients, the goal was 288. They got that 288, and then I got a text from them, from Joanna, and she's like, okay, we got 288. Can we go home now? I'm like, okay, we have 2 more weeks to go. So then I said, instead of you reach your bonus, you get your bonus, for every new client you get 2 hours off, paid time off. So if she wants to leave on Friday at 3 instead of 5, she will still get paid. She's thrilled with that incentive.
Very good, girls. You guys are doing it so great, and congratulations on that. So the question I had for Gosha when we were getting ready for this is, why didn't you do all this yourself? Why in the world did you hire me? When I think about it, I mean, I taught Carmina, and so everybody understands, I actually went to Gosha's office for 3 days, and I taught Carmina how to do her job. Gosha wasn't around very much. She was out getting lunch, I guess. No. So I really did teach it. I mean, Gosha knew what we did, but she did not sit in that room. We did that. So why didn't you do it yourself? You could have saved a lot of money.
Really, you want me to answer this? Truly, even though I've been in business for so many years, since 2001, I didn't know how to do it. First of all, I didn't know how to do it. Second of all, I was just overwhelmed because I felt so much that has to be done. I didn't even know where to start. Then, like you said, I wasn't even with you guys because I was so busy running around. I just couldn't be with you guys. So for me, it was more beneficial to hire Sharon and just have Sharon handle this and teach Carmina, because for me time was more valuable. And plus, why should I reinvent the wheel? She already done it before. She had a successful company. So I just figured, it's better for me to really hire Sharon.
Well, good, and it turned out well. It was fun. It was experience. You, of course, had a great trainee for me, and that was fun, but I wanted people to understand why you didn't do it yourself, and thank you for admitting that. Okay, so I think I already went through, you decided to do feather dusters, you're going to do some solos and some teams, moving in the direction of teams. I believe you did decide when you move in the direction of teams, so you are going to do 3, because you do not want to change their positions anymore. You want 1 for kitchens, 1 for dusting, and 1 for bathrooms. Is that correct?
Correct, right. And the girl that's cleaning just the bathrooms, we have a couple of teams that are just doing the bathrooms and floors, and the other one is doing the kitchen and dusting. They actually are happy doing it. The girl, surprise! She's like, I love doing it. My bathrooms are clean. I know exactly what I'm doing. So she is. I can tell they like this, and they own this. This is their baby, So when they go every time to the same client, it's easy. It's not a big deal. I was always worried, oh my gosh, they will with bleach, it will be so much, they will hate this. No, it's not true, because once the bathroom is clean, there is no need to use bleach. Such a lot of bleach. Of course, when you go to a deep cleaning, then it's a different story. But you don't do deep cleanings, a lot of deep cleanings. Plus, we don't do deep cleanings anymore.
Well, and perhaps you want to give some thought, and I've heard of other companies as big as yours that went to deep cleaning teams. That's all that team did. Because you know what, if it's a deep cleaning, I don't care if they change positions, because there's no pictures to fall off the wall, there's no things to be remembered anyway. So, or like especially a move out, move in. So you could have teams that just, because this works the best, as you said, when it's a repeat client base. And you'll build one faster and stronger. And then, yes, I used to have to beg girls to leave their bathrooms. They absolutely adore them. So right. It's nice to have you see that. Most clients see that after they work with me, but I hear from more people than you could imagine. I can't do that. My girls will quit. But actually, they like it. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. This is on my website, by the way, folks, but I have made it a 5-day training program because in most instances, Gosha's I'm in Milwaukee for the summer, so I can drive to her office, and I will be going back. We talked about that for a day, and she's using me for ongoing consulting now. So the question is 5 days a better idea than 3 if I'm going to fly someplace?
I feel 3 days was tight. I needed you for a little more. That's why we were on the phone after you left, because there were some things that we did not cover. We needed to spend more time with the office staff. So I wish that we had more time. Definitely we had more time to cover more things. 5 days would be a very comfortable, and it's the last day to answer any questions that we have or any issues, because people have to implement things, and then as you start implementing things, you find out, okay, how does this go? Really, I know Sharon talked about it, but how does it really go? So yes, definitely more time. I would really like more time.
Okay, good. So do you have any other feedback for our audience before we let them go and I let you go?
It was a great experience to have you in our office. People, I feel like our staff got more motivated, and they feel like I want to invest in them, and it was, I want them to be successful. That's why we had you come, and because of that, they feel like they are part of the company, they got training, And I believe it's very important to really train your staff to take you to the next level. Without this, I felt stuck. I was stuck. I didn't know what to do next.
Perfect.
So,
now we're hit a new plateau for you this year. So who would you recommend this to? If other businesses want to do this, what type of a business do you think would get something out of cross-country training? Me going in their office.
I really would suggest to anyone who has office staff issues, that office staff is burned out. Office people will get burned out because there is a lot of stress and they have to have procedures. Sharon has the procedures already written. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's already there. You have to implement into your business, but it's already written. So the processes, if you want to get those in place, Sharon has that. If you don't have enough growth, if you feel, what am I doing wrong to bring me to the next level, this is the right choice to have a coach to help you recognize your mistakes, recognize where you are stuck, because when you are an owner, sometimes you don't see it. You don't see that clearly. You need to bring another set of eyes. And then if you have a high employee turnover, why is the high employee turnover? Why am I having the employee turnover? Are they trained properly? They have to be trained properly in order to provide the proper service. And then what's wrong? Why am I having high customer turnover? So those are all if people have those issues, that's when you need to look into getting someone like Sharon.
Thank you, Gosha. I was sitting here thinking about the moment when you and Carmina decided, yes, CORE had to be taught from beginning to end exactly as it is, when you both said you would give anything to walk into a customer who complained and not be embarrassed when you see the cobwebs hanging from the corner of the wall. Do you remember that, Gosha?
Right, exactly. That's what was Carmina's comment. She said, I was so embarrassed when I went to fix something, and it was her job, I think. She did the job. And she went to fix it because the customer complained that there were cobwebs, and she felt so embarrassed because she was not using the long duster. And she said, at first when I did the job, I didn't see the cobwebs. But of course, when the light comes from different directions, then the cobwebs appear. So that's why you have to do the right steps. That's why you have to use the right tools. So you don't miss anything, because then you have complaints, and you want to avoid that. You want to avoid the embarrassment.
Well, the embarrassment and the repeat client, because it's all about that. Gosha, I know that she's open to hearing from you. As a matter of fact, she's open to you coming to visit her. She's the most open person. One time I said to her, you've got to stop people coming from your office. No wonder you can't get your things to do list done, because she's so talented. People want to spend time with her. But she's in Elmhurst. This is her email address. This is her phone number. I cannot thank you enough, Ms. Gosha. And if you are interested in seeing what Gosha did with me, it is called cross-country training, because I'm taking it to you for the summertime. It is indeed the same program as Hill Country Harvest that I'll have in fall again, and that's also on my website, the dates for that. And Hill Country Harvest is a lot less than cross-country training because it's more impacted. If you're small, if you're big, if you can implement and you can do it yourself and you don't have 3 managers like Gosha, then that's a good program. Gosha would have to send all 3 to get what they got by me going to her office. So you have to determine what would work best for you. But if you want to see either one, just go to the website, successmadeeasy.com, click on the banner on the home page for either Hill Country Harvest or Cross Country Training, or give me a call and I'll talk to you about it. Gosha, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
And we're going to see Gosha again. I'm sure she's willing to do one more webinar on her technological things she has put into place that are just phenomenal. Are you willing to do that, Gosha?
Yes, of course, anytime.
Perfect. And of course, next time we talk to her, she'll be at like 320, 325, so that'll be fun too.
I hope
Say
so.
hi to your staff for me. Thank you again, Gosha.
Thank you.